Hey boys and girls, it's Mrs. Jones here, and today we're going to learn about subtracting across zeros. So if you take a look at my numbers, I have 800 subtract 346. Now, last week we worked on estimating sums and differences, but today we're actually going to subtract. Last week we also worked on subtracting with regrouping, and when we're subtracting across zeros, regrouping is no different. It works the same way. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to start with our ones column and we're working our way up to the highest place value. So in our ones, we have 0 take away 6. I don't know about you, but if I have $0 and somebody asks to borrow 6, can I give them that $6? No, I can't. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to subtract, but I'm going to have to borrow from my neighbor. So this 0 is worth nothing. I'm going to go to my next neighbor. Well, this is also a 0. Can I borrow anything from nothing? No. So I'm going to have to go to my next neighbor. My next neighbor is an 8. Does 8 have something that I can borrow? It does. So I'm going to borrow from my 8. I'm going to take 1 away from the 8. When I take 1 away from the 8, it now becomes a 7. That 1 I just took away from the 8, I'm going to give to this neighbor. If I have a 0 and I place a 1 in front of it, it now becomes a 10. Also, now I have 0 take away 6. Can I borrow from this neighbor now? Because the neighbor is now 10. Yes. So I'm going to borrow from this neighbor now. And if I take 1 away from 10, what am I left with? I'm left with 9. Now that 1 I took away from 10, I can finally give to this 0. So now this 0 would be worth 10. Now I can subtract. 10 subtract 6 is 4. 9 subtract 4 is 5. 7 subtract 3 is 4. So my answer is 454. Let's try with a bigger problem. Let's try 3,000 subtract 1,235. Okay, now we're ready to begin. Notice my 0 right here, I can't take away 5 because 0 is worth nothing. Can I borrow from this neighbor? No. Can I borrow from this neighbor? No. Does this neighbor have something of value? Its value is worth 3,000 because it's a 3 and it's in the thousands place. So it has something that I can borrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away 1 from this 3. When I take away 1 from 3, how much am I left with? I'm left with 2. Now notice, when I borrow, I have to give that back somewhere else. So when I borrowed that 1 from the 3, I'm going to give it to this 0 now. So this 0 is now going to be worth 10. Okay, notice I still don't have anything of value in these place values. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take 1 away from this 10, and it now becomes a 9. When I took that 1 away from the 10, I have to give that 1 to this 0, which now becomes a 10. Okay, notice in my place value, still I can't do 0 take away 5, so now I have a neighbor that I can finally borrow from, which now becomes a 9. This 0 now is a 10. Now, does every 0 have a value? Every 0 now has a value, so I am now ready to subtract. 10 subtract 5 is 5. 9 subtract 3 is 6. 9 subtract 2 is 7. 2 subtract 1 is 1. So when I am looking at my answer. I notice I have something in the ones, tens, and hundreds and thousands place. I need a comma somewhere. My comma is going to separate the thousands from the hundreds place. So my final answer is 1,765. If you need to watch this video more than once, please do so. Thanks.